Will Mexico solve our immigration crisis? It's possible, and they may do it through oil and gas. Mexican lawmakers recently voted to open up their country's oil and gas industry to international investment. Long term, it means Mexico could grow into one of the world's largest energy producers, and together with the U.S. and Canada, could end up producing more than the Middle East. And in terms of immigration, well,
them to expand production. That will lead to economic growth and more jobs for Mexicans, which means fewer Mexican immigrants coming to the United States.
An immigration fix may be an unintended result, but Jones also predicts a boost in jobs for the Houston area. That's our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you on Facebook and Twitter. Joining us live in the newsroom is Fox 26 legal analyst Chris Tritico, Fox 26 news analyst Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. You know, this is such a huge thing that Mexico did that it just kind of slipped past everybody when they did it. But for the entire time that we've been since we discovered oil, Mexico has been closed. It's been a government project on their oil production, and it's held them back. So making this change, and with the North American Free Trade Agreement, a block of Mexico, the United States, and Canada producing oil together, can really change the face of oil production and the sale of oil and gas and affect the price worldwide of oil and gas, where we could now control the market as opposed to the Middle East. It's a very, very big deal that Mexico did. And by adding this and adding the foreign investment, which will ramp up their oil and gas production, Jackie Bally, the prospect for employment in Mexico will, I think, end up helping the immigration situation. It's not going to solve it, because they're still going to want to come here, and people from the Central America are still going to come here, but it has to have a positive influence.
From an optimistic standpoint, yes, and let's give them an A for effort, because this is the first time that we've actually seen Mexico being proactive in this way, and we can only be hopeful. And I think that your prediction is very hopeful. Now, reality is investors aren't going to just run to Mexico because they're known for corruption and kickbacks and favoritism. And just because they've now opened their doors to this sector, they're not going to say, oh, yes, we're going to do this. But there are endless possibilities if they're willing to bring transparency to their company, if they're actually going to do what they're saying they're going to do. And it would help tremendously with the immigration flow that's coming to the States, because it would produce another sector within Mexico.
Well, American oil and gas companies do business in countries, Russia, all of Africa, all of Central America, where we don't get favorable treatment at all. And so the oil and gas industry has not proven that it really cares that much about what the politics are.
Well, in terms of going where corruption and stuff, yeah, we are in all those countries where all those problems exist. I guess the interesting part is that 40% of Mexico's budget comes from Pemex. So if Pemex becomes a privately held company, then how does the Mexican budget survive over the long term? Because it's been kind of a piggy bank that every time they needed more money in the government sector,
they got it
from Pemex. And so if that changes, that's going to be a big thing. And then there's just this transitioning from a state-owned oil company to a private oil company. You do worry about corruption in there, because if it's not done properly, then the citizens of Mexico will be affected for the long haul.
All right. I'll come back. We're going to talk about the immigration aspect a little bit more, but I'm going to go to Hillary. She's monitoring our social media.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of that immigration aspect, we're getting a lot of social media talk about the border itself. Will oil even have an impact on it? People on Facebook are asking us, does it really matter? Because really what has to be done is we secure the border. At least that's what people are saying on Facebook and Twitter. What are your responses to that?
Well, you know, we talk about securing the border, it seems like every week here on the show. But one of the things that we've also been talking about is the fact that Mexico can do a lot by securing its much smaller border with Central America, and by doing a partnership like this, and America making investments in Mexico, it may make it easier for them to secure that border.
Yeah, and making investments in Mexico will actually, again, provide a sector, will at least have some of the people who are trying to come to this country illegally looking for another opportunity or a better opportunity, provide those opportunities within their own country or within Mexico. So, and we talk about securing the border because of the influx of 63 according to Homeland Security. But one of the things that we need to really watch is that Does Mexico now have the sophistication for the bidding process that we would need to attract a lot of these companies? And are they really, they've never had a track record of doing this before. So we have to watch what they're going to do in the future. But I do think that, again, A for effort. I think if they are successful, it will help with that flow that's coming into our country.
Final thought.
One of the things that you'll see is that there's a shortage of skilled workers in Mexico for these new jobs that are being created.
Which
That's
will
why
bring us
Houston- which does well for Houston. But we're facing the same problem. And if we don't educate your population to take on these skilled workers of the future, then you're always importing people from the outside. And we've done that, and I think Mexico's going to face the exact same thing.
All right, we got 30 seconds left. So I want to talk about a little bit about the prospect of Mexico and the United States and Canada joining together and really affecting the world markets.
Oh, I think you said it exactly correctly in your opening comments. If that actually does happen with the trade agreement, this could be our replacement for it going to the Middle East for oil.
And taking it over, actually, just taking over the
Exactly.
world markets.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, it's a commodity, so it's globally traded, right? So the price of oil, whatever it is, so it's less than $50 to produce oil, depending on how you produce it, but it's going over $100 a barrel, and that will continue to happen because the demand's so high.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. We'll be back in the next half hour with another really good topic.